Hi, I'm Lauren Short. I am the marketing director for FFR Trading, and today I have Lee Gettess here with me. Lee is a very high esteemed strategist with FFR Trading. Hi, Lee. Thank you for joining us today.
Hey, Lauren. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. Would you like to do just like a little short introduction about yourself so we all get to know you a little bit?
Well, not particularly, but I will. I'm kind of well, I've been doing this forever. I started trading for a living in the mid 1980s and did a little bit before then, of course. And I'm kind of I don't know, a hermit maybe. I like to beat up computers and find research. I think I'm a better researcher and analyst than I am a trader, but fortunately trading is going fairly well too. And I left Detroit in 1987 to go do this for a living, and so far I'm still doing it, which is good because at this point I'm only qualified to either do this or be a greeter at Walmart. So I'm glad this still works.
Well, we're very happy that you're over here instead of standing out front of Walmart, but we do know you at least have a great backup plan if all fails. So, well, I guess so with that, what do you think are like your greatest strengths or like your best little niches when it comes to investing?
Well, probably the thing I'm most proud of is recognizing early on that you kind of have to be a negative person to be a good trader. I'm surrounded by people who are proponents of positive thinking, right? And so everybody trades to make money. We want to go make a bunch of money. And that's great. But when it comes to trading, the only thing you really have any control over is the risk. So, I've learned early to focus on the risk, making sure I have that under control. And if I do that and I'm choosing reasonable positions, I mean, obviously I'm looking for ways that to get in the correct direction of the market. Once I do that, if I focus on the risk, the profits just kind of take care of themselves. And that's kind of foreign, I think, to most people. In fact, I think that's one of the reasons trading is difficult for a lot of people, because the psychological side of it is well, it's tough. You really want to focus on what's the worst that can happen, and if I can handle that, then I should be able to handle everything else. And if you think you can control something other than the risk, you're lying to yourself, because we research stuff and we get probabilities in our favor, but any individual trade, we have no idea how it's going to work out. Nobody does. And then if anybody tells you they do, they don't. Nobody knows. But we know what the worst that can happen is. And if we can control that, hopefully we'll be on the right side of enough of them. We trade probabilities, get the probabilities in our favor, things work out well. But it's really tough. My wife is the leading proponent of positive thinking. And you just can't do that. I'm going to go make a ton of money. I'm going to make a ton. No, you cannot go into trading like that. It's very difficult to do that if that's your focus.
I mean, that makes sense to me, actually. You do want to make sure that you're prepared and psychologically preparing yourself for the worst that can happen so that you're always pleasantly surprised when things don't go that way.
well, and I've used this analogy before. I think if you want to make $1,000, what can you do? You put a trade on, you hope you got the trade in the right direction, but you cannot make that market pay you. But if you don't want to lose more than $1,000, there's slippage, commission, there's overnight gaps, but within reason, you can make sure of that. So that's really the only thing you have control over, in my opinion.
I like that. Well, that's great that you really have a good grasp of that and are able to share it with others. So I guess kind of to follow up with that, what is a challenge that you faced in the stock market that you feel has made you a better strategist?
Well, I guess I'll answer that by telling you a story. I started trading for a living as a futures day trader October 12th of 1987. 1 week after that, October 19th of 1987, was the biggest crash the stock market's had since the 1920s. And I saw my whole life flash in front of my eyes, right? We'd never had more than an 8-point range in the S&P until the previous Friday, and then we lost 22.5% that day. It was just an unbelievable day, and living through that and still being able to survive and keep trading, I'm not afraid of anything anymore. There'll never be anything else in the market that'll scare me like that did. So it certainly taught me, as I mentioned earlier, to be concerned about how much downside risk there might be. But I've already seen how bad it can get. I'm convinced it'll never get that bad in my lifetime again. So living through that and understanding how to better control the risk, because that day was so scary. I think that probably has made me a better trader.
That's very interesting, actually. I do believe sometimes the worst things that happen to you actually prepare you to be your best self. And it kind of sounds like that happened to you. Like, all right, here's your career, deal with this. And then you were able to handle it. Yeah. Wow. Well, so I guess what is your motivation with succeeding in the stock market and your strategies?
Well, obviously, there's the same basis that everybody else goes into. I want to make money, right? The other thing, though, I have to admit that gets me a little bit is the challenge. You know, I've spent 40 years now looking at charts and trying to determine if I can figure out why the market's going up or when it's going to go up or down. And the challenge of saying, okay, I think I see something here. I think the market tends to go up when I see this. How do I quantify this? How do I analyze this trade? Find a way to see if I'm right, that this is really what happens. And I got to be honest, most of the time I'm not. 98% of the things I test just suck. And they suck because they're not horrible. They're just mediocre. I mean, if I could find something that failed 80% of the time, that's awesome. All I know is I'm 180 degrees wrong. We'll just do the opposite and it'll be great, right? No, it doesn't work that way. It's like, it works half the time. It loses a little, makes a little, and you just spin on your wheels. It's no good. So, but it's worth it to find that 1 or 2% where something really does get the probabilities clearly in my favor. And I very much enjoy the challenge of that. I would honestly tell you, I think I'm a much better analyst and researcher than I am a trader. I'm kind of used to people taking my stuff and making more money than me. You know, it used to bother me, but I get calls all the time. Oh man, Lee, that was a great call on this. You did this, and I'm like, how did you make that? I didn't have that great a day today, you know. But I'm fine with it. I really am. I enjoy the research, and yeah, I'm probably better at that than actually being a trader.
Well, that's really awesome. I mean, I think the research is what makes it all important. So that's great that that's what you like to hone in on. Well, okay, we'll take it a different direction now. So what do you like to do for fun?
That I can discuss in public. Golf. I find I like to play golf. I throughout the course of my life, I used to be a bodybuilder. I enjoy golf. I enjoy trading. I enjoy women. I think I'm just drawn to things that are difficult. I think that's my lot in life. But yeah, I'm not very good at golf. Don't get me wrong. I didn't start playing golf till I was 35, and everybody I talk to say if I really want to get good, I should go back and take it up younger. But it's kind of similar to trading. I very much enjoy the challenge of it. So yeah, golf. Plus, golf courses smell better than bowling alleys. I used to be a good bowler, and bowling alleys don't smell as good as golf courses.
Yeah, not as much sunlight. I would say that maybe you should even consider like stand-up comedy or something. You seem to have a niche with good jokes here. You're pretty funny.
Yeah, I could duck tomatoes all day. That'd be good.
Well, then there's a whole nother skill set you could have, like a matrix ability, right? To dodge all the things coming at you. Exactly. Well, do you work on any projects like outside of trading in the stock market, or is there any like fun little passion project that you're working on?
Oh gosh, I have my first grandchild who just turned a year old, and it seems like all my time is taken up with doing things with her. See, she's here a lot, which I feel very grateful for. I'm fortunate that she's here with us a lot. And it seems like I don't have time for much of anything else. I mean, I've written some books and stuff, and I enjoy cars, but yeah, it kind of seems like granddaughter has taken focus from anything else.
Oh, well, congratulations on that. That's very
Oh,
exciting.
thank you.
Okay, well, so why should people feel confident in working with you?
Gosh, if I'm supposed to convince people to be confident in me, I'm not sure I want to do that. Um, Trading is an intensely personal endeavor. We all kind of bring our own temperament and personality to it, and I can't, I wouldn't try to tell anybody that the way I do things and my approach to markets is perfect for everybody. It may not be. I'm not equipped to tell anybody that it's the right thing for them. So I mean, I'm not really interested in trying to convince people to have confidence in me. That's probably a strange thing to say, but I mean, in terms of me, I'm rough around the edges, and you see what you get. I tell the truth about stuff, um, but I'm not everybody's cup of tea. So again, I don't really want people, if they look at the track record and look at the way they do things and they like things, great. I'd like to try and help them, but beyond that, I don't want to convince anybody of anything.
Well, I think that's a very honest answer, and just saying that you're an honest person. So that's a good trait right there. Well, I guess, what is your best piece of advice for anyone who is wanting to invest in the stock market?
Well, the most obvious one is start small. Don't feel like you got to go make a bunch of money. Start small. Make your mistakes small, because when you first start trading, you're as bad as you're ever going to be, or at least hopefully you're as bad as you're ever going to be. You're probably not going to have success right away, and if you do, that's horrible, because that means you won't respect the market, and eventually it'll smack you really hard. So yeah, just start small. See how it feels to you. See what you like. See if there's a method, a time frame, a way to approach the market that works for you, and be honest about your own strengths and weaknesses. Uh, but starting small is really the most important thing. You don't have to make $1 million your first year. Just prove that you can make money before you start risking anything substantial.
That makes sense. That's great advice. Well, is there anything extra that you would like to share or add before we wrap it all up?
No, I don't know. I don't know what people need to hear that would benefit them, other than I like the ability to invest, because I used to work for General Motors, and when you grow up in Detroit, working for General Motors is as secure as you could possibly be. And I woke up one morning and I didn't work for General Motors anymore. I worked for Ross Perot and Electronic Data Systems. They just transitioned all of us computer people over to another company. And to me, that was a great lesson in security. Ain't no such thing as security working for somebody else. And so I learned that you can make your money work for you, or you can work, and your money doesn't get tired and doesn't sleep. So I really think everybody should be doing something to make their money work for them. And that doesn't have to be with me. Gosh, and another thing about me, I guess something I should have said earlier, I've never thought it was my job to make more money than anybody else. My job's just to make money. And if there's other people doing better than me or making more, I'm happy for them. Good for them. It's not that kind of a competition. Uh, I've always felt that my job was just to make money, and that's all I really try to do.
Well, I think that was a great way to end it. Thank you for sharing all this. You are hilarious. I really enjoyed learning about you. I think you have a lot of great insight and, tips for people. So thank you so much for sharing this with us today.
Well, thank you, Lauren. That was probably just a nice way of saying I'm very old.
No. I really appreciate you, Lee. Thank you so much.